the best from Sony, the best from Samsung. No more intro needed, guys. Let's go right to it. Now, it goes without saying, these are both amazing phones, top of the line specs, Snapdragon 835 on both, and you have 4 GB of RAM on the Sony, 6 on the Samsung, so a step up from the S8 Plus. Now, these should be the best two phones released by these companies this year. For Samsung, the Note 8 will definitely be the best, as you guys see first one to boot up there. Now, Sony is coming out with the XE1, but I think the XE Premium will be better than that. And you guys see all the apps closed down on both. So let's get right to it. First up, we got BBC News. That was extremely close. I think slight advantage for the Sony. Amazon. Sony there. You do. Sony. Calculator. And clock. Now, both these phones actually have a lot in common, and I will discuss it throughout the video. And I do have to say, the multitasking on the S8 Plus is a huge improvement. I think that was Sony. iFunny. So the Note 8 definitely faster than the S8 Plus, but this one going to Sony as well. Sony's still extremely good at loading up apps, photos. That looked like a tie. Okay, getting into more intense stuff, we got Mortal Kombat 5. And this one I expect to be extremely close. And this one going to the Sony. Settings next. And I think a slight advantage there for the Sony. Temperanto. So the Sony Xperia XE Premium and the OnePlus 5 are the two fastest phones in my opinion. But the Note 8 is going to be some really tough competition. And narrow margin there for the Sony. Okay guys, one more game and then we'll move on to more stuff. So we got Asphalt 8. We're going to do web browsing, multitasking, camera speed, fingerprint scanner, and then a specs overview. Okay guys, so Sony by a few milliseconds there. Now obviously the Note 8 is a lot faster than the S8 Plus. And to the benchmark. So as you guys see, slightly higher on the Sony, but extremely close. 180,000 versus 178. And on the Sony, it is right behind the OnePlus 5. Chrome next. And let's go ahead and clear out the web history on both. We're going to go to Google and then clear out the history. Alright, so web history cleared. IGN.com first. Okay, it's just waiting for this to load right here. And narrow margin there for the Sony. IMDb.com next. Okay, I think that was a narrow margin there for the Samsung. Let's do Sony next. Sony.com. And this one going to the Sony pretty easily. And final one was to Samsung.com. Samsung. And Actually, we loaded up different sites here, guys. Okay, guys, so since we loaded up different sites there, let's do one final one. Let's do Nintendo.com. And this one going to the Sony. Okay, guys, we're going to do camera speed next. Bring in the Droid guy for this. Now, both of these phones have amazing cameras. And as you guys see, the Samsung is faster here. And we'll have actual comparisons later in the future, both video and pictures. Okay, guys, fingerprints get on next. Now on the Sony, it's here on the side. And on the Samsung, it's here on the back. So testing out the speed. Now it is just a little bit awkward trying to do this on the Samsung at the same time. So just bear with me for a second here, guys. But it looks like overall the Sony is definitely faster. But like the camera speed tests, they're very close. Alright, now I'm getting rhythm there. Yeah, this one going to the Sony. Great speed test so far, and before the final test, let's go over the specs of both phones. Now, amazing screens on both of these phones. You see both of them currently on the maximum brightness. Now, Samsung, it does have better viewing angles with the AMOLED screen. But aside from that, both look great head-on. Now, the Sony is 5.5 inches and the world's first phone with a 4K HDR screen display. Samsung is 6.3 Quad HD. Front-facing camera on the Sony is 13 megapixels, on the Samsung is 8. Now, great cameras on the back here. On the Sony, it is 19 megapixels. And on the Samsung, you have two, both are 12 megapixels. Also on the Sony, you can record in 960 frames per second, super slow motion. 64 gigabytes internal storage and micro SD card support on both. Now, 3230 capacity battery on the Sony, 3300 on the Galaxy Note 8. Both phones Snapdragon 835, 4 gigabytes of RAM on the Sony, 6 on the Samsung. Both phones are waterproof, USB Type-C at the bottom. And fingerprint scanners, again, on the side for the Sony, on the back for the Samsung, and I do prefer the placement here on the Sony. Fortunately, both these phones do have headphone jacks, so on the top on the Sony, bottom on the Samsung. Also on the bottom here for the Samsung, you have the S Pen, so for writing on the screen. Beautiful designs on both these phones, mostly made of metal and glass. And obviously smaller bezels here on the Samsung versus the Sony, although on the Sony you do have two front-facing speakers here at the top and the bottom. And finally, at this point, the Sony is going for around $600 United States dollars, whereas the Samsung going for around $950, so over 50% more expensive. Okay guys, so it's been a pretty competitive race. Let's do multitasking. And we're going to start with iFunny. Okay, so Samsung here is holding the memory, the Sony is not. Let's do Temperanto. Both phones holding the memory, so excellent there. Asphalt 8. Again, both phones holding the memory, very good sign. Keep in mind on the Samsung you do have an additional 2 gigabytes of RAM, so this should be the main advantage there. Modern Combat 5. Okay, so the Samsung, better job here holding the memory, although it did not fully load up yet. Okay guys, I think earlier when I was trying to load it up, it didn't fully load. A few more and I'll get my final thoughts. Camera. Chrome. Very close. And to-do. Again guys, very close there. And photos. That looked like Samsung. eBay. Okay guys, so again, Samsung holding it better there. YouTube. Advantage there for the Sony. And final one. settings. I think this was a very competitive race. Now, if you guys remember the Sony versus S8 Plus video, that one was much more lopsided towards the Sony. But with this test, Samsung did win the boot up time, camera speed, and the multitasking is definitely a lot better than it was on S8 Plus, so won that one as well. However, guys, that said, Sony did win the games opening, apps opening, web browsing, and to-do, and the fingerprint scanner. So in terms of performance, not much of a difference here, although if I had to pick one, I would say Sony by a narrow edge because it did win more categories. So lots of comparisons playing between these two phones, camera tests, batteries, speakers, and more. And of course, a lot more tests between both these phones and all the other major smartphones on the market. So let me know in the comment section below what video you want to see next. Please subscribe for more, and as always, thanks for watching.